Goodwill has officially become Greedwill. They know what they're doing and how they are pricing their items that they get for free. Look at this dollar store chalk. It's priced higher. Half the fun of thrifting is finding good deals, not paying retail prices for donated items. Some of these price tags have me putting items back right away.
Whoever does the pricing at Goodwill needs their head examined. $15.49? $4.49 for a pumpkin. That is broken? What? A vase? For $10.49, you can literally buy that at Dollar Tree.
Goodwill has lost the plot. I found this for $14.99. And guess what? If I bought it from Home Goods, it would have been $9.99.
Forget ridiculous thrift store prices. These are the tricks that nobody is talking about.
Judging by my comment section, all of us are struggling with sky-high Goodwill prices. But here's the thing, I've been doing this professionally for over a decade. My entire house is filled with thrifted finds, dollar store makeovers. So while prices have definitely gone up at Goodwill, I've learned tricks that most people completely miss. So if your Goodwill is overpriced or just straight trash, today I'm sharing with you my 5-part thrift formula. These are not basic tips that everyone repeats online. In fact, if you have heard all 5 before, literally leave a fire emoji in the comments because I would be genuinely impressed. But before we jump to the formula, we have to talk about why this is happening.
I personally think there's 2 main reasons for the price increases. And the first is the reseller market. Lots of people are buying items up to sell them at higher price points on Depop, on Facebook Marketplace, and Goodwill doesn't want to lose out on the profits. But to me, a Goodwill is supposed to be a charity shop, a place where people can go who couldn't afford items brand new. You find them at Goodwill at an actually decent price.
But somehow I feel like Goodwill lost the Goodwill in its name.
But what the most disappointing thing is Goodwill is now taking the best items that they find and they're selling them on their online auction marketplace. So even the items that come into the store for drop-offs, anything that's super awesome is now either behind the counter that they're charging a lot for, or you can't even buy it in store. You're buying it online.
Some people don't mind the online store. I think it's really overpriced. But you may not know there is not just one singular Goodwill. Goodwill operates under regional territories. I'm in the Southern Piedmont cluster and our prices really aren't too bad, but please let me know in the comments, have you noticed your Goodwills upping their prices? What do you think about all of this and how bad has it gotten in your area? But regardless, I want to share with you how to still save in spite of rising prices.
This is my formula for still thrifting right now and saving thousands.
Don't miss number 5 because this one saved me $1,700.
Step 1 to my thrifting formula is the Lululemon rule. Now listen closely because this really works. I want you to find the local Lululemon and in the radius around that Lululemon, type in community thrift store. This works in every city I've ever visited, that the thrift stores nearby a Lululemon are always the best stores. Try it in your city and see what happens.
And the very best stores are almost never, ever Goodwill. There are way better stores that do such a better job at serving the community with way better prices than Goodwill.
By this point, people with nicer items, quality pieces, really nice vintage pieces. Maybe they have something like this, I thrifted, beautiful crystal, passed down in their family. They don't want to donate that to Goodwill and have it literally sit in a trash heap that might break. They want to donate to a local community thrift store. We have one in our area called Matthew's Help Center, and 100% of the proceeds go back into the community, helping people get back on their feet. There are stories posted. They have a food pantry. Everybody in there is all volunteer and they are so nice. And not only that, all of the prices are truly $1. They have $1 days. They're truly serving the community and people who are looking for thrifted items.
It's not just the thrifters who are savvy, it's the people who are donating too. A lot of people with nicer items want their donations to support something that they care about, a church, hospice, or community program. So when you find local charity thrift stores in nicer areas, you're getting the best of both worlds, really good donations and better prices. And I'm just saying, it's exactly 9 miles from a Lululemon.
There are so many treasures on this shelf. We have down here cast iron skillets, and all of these items are just a couple of dollars each, which is crazy and good. Vintage and antique collectibles. This $7 lamp is literally worth it just for the shade alone. This is really good. So find your closest Lululemon and the nearest community thrift. You can also type in church thrift or charity thrift. I've got some thrift stores coming up I bet you've never heard of, but the entire point of today's video is to help you save thousands, not overpay or complicate something that should be simple, which is why I'm so thankful today's video is brought to you by Chapter. It makes Medicare simple, and it is totally free. Many seniors are overpaying for coverage. They're not getting the coverage that they deserve. And in a less than 20-minute phone call, you talk to an actual person that helps you get the coverage that you need. It's not a sales pitch. It's no nonsense. They will hold your hand, walk you through all the plans that are available, and help you get the best savings possible. And they don't have an agenda, or they're not paid to push any certain plan. How do I know? Because if you're on the right plan, they will actually tell you that too. On average, folks who make new plans with Chapter save $1,100 a year. That is money straight back into your pocket in a phone call that is less than 20 minutes. Call 925-524-3424. Again, that's 925-524-3424. Life is too busy and complicated for something like Medicare to feel overwhelming.
Now armed with the Lululemon rule and community thrift,
Part 2 of my formula is to add creative reuse center to your vocabulary. These are brand new types of thrift stores that are popping up all over the country, and this one might blow your mind. This trick might just change your life. Go on Google and type in creative reuse center. Today, I'm in Upcycle Arts. I'm in the Charlotte area, and this is a thrift store for arts and craft supplies. These are community hubs that collect supplies that are gently used, leftover materials from individuals, businesses. Think yarn, fabric, office supplies, basically anything you can think of. And they resell them at heavily discounted prices to divert waste from landfills. This is a great place to come to for shopping for craft supplies instead of going to the dollar store, or if you have extra craft supplies you're not using, a great place to bring them. These are popping up all across the country, and I am loving seeing stores just like this one. These are even cheaper than the dollar store. They're just 50 cents. Last year alone, Upcycle Arts took in 42,000 pounds of donation. That's the size of 4 orca whales, which is actually insane. Lots of this is just 75 cents and $1, and you get even more than you would at the dollar store. This is also a great spot to find craft storage. It's $7. This is volunteer-based, and it was so much fun exploring the inside of the store. Not only that, seeing how low the prices were, just $1 or $2 a piece. You know me, you're at Do It on a Dime. I love crafting. And sometimes I buy things from the Dollar Tree that I use and love, and then other items maybe I didn't use. I can make an appointment to take this to my local donation center and then purchase what I need. It takes things out of landfills, and they are so much fun to shop at. Trust me, you have to check out creative reuse centers. Add it to your vocabulary now for step 2 of the formula. Are you ready for part 3 of the formula? Because I am.
this one is probably the biggest shift I've seen in the thrifting world over the last few years. As thrift stores get more expensive, more and more people are skipping the thrift stores altogether, and they're going straight to the source. Estate sales. This is where the kind of deals are located that make other thrifters jealous, where the resellers are shopping, so you don't even need the store. You can go there yourself too.
When you hear about dealers or antique booths or people who are selling online sourcing, they're talking about where they're finding items at heavily discounted prices. And the main way to get these are estate sales. Estate sales happen when somebody has passed away and the family is selling the items that they don't need or want. Or maybe somebody is moving, they might have an estate sale. And you can find, because these are in such limited windows of time, amazing items at estate sales marked really reasonably. This is where most dealers are sourcing their items at rock bottom prices. Now here's the thing. I'm not a dealer. I don't have an antique booth. I'm not trying to make money doing this. I'm just trying to decorate my home beautifully on a budget. I go to estatesales.net to find all of the local estate sales. You can see when they're happening, and not only that, they post pictures of everything in the estate sale so you can see if it's even worth going to. And please, please don't have a scarcity mindset when you go into an estate sale. I know that these are getting more popular, so sometimes they're really busy. I never get there at the beginning of an estate sale. I don't want to wait in line. I just come later in the afternoon. I browse around. They are so fun to do with friends or go out with your husband or just see what's available. I don't have pressure on myself to try to find things, but if I do, I can get a really good deal on amazing housewares, clothes, and more. We are genuinely in the golden age of estate sales, especially because most estate sales are those super quality antique pieces, vintage pieces, or just really nice things, like the type of stuff where you're like, they don't make it like that anymore. You're gonna find it at an estate sale. I will put a link to everything I mentioned down below because all of these things together are gonna help you save.
Forget the overpriced thrift stores when you can go straight to estate sales and get things at rock bottom prices.
How are we feeling? Because we're going to stack on number 4 to the formula, and that is to forget Goodwill, but remember the Goodwill outlet.
Goodwill is not just Goodwill, okay? It has a lot of family brands, and across 162 stores over 41 states, you can find a Goodwill outlet store.
Sometimes this is known as a bin store or the Goodwill clearance centers. This is deeply discounted retail locations of Goodwill where the unsold merchandise is sold in bulk and it's sold by the pound. These stores represent the final step for items before they are recycled or salvaged, and they really differ from the standard Goodwill thrift store. Instead of individual price tags, items are weighed in bulk at the register and charged by the pound. Usually this is $1.49 to $3 a pound, depending on the region that you're in. But no matter where you are in the United States, these outlet stores are a great spot to come. I will say there are a lot of resellers there, and it can get pretty competitive, especially because they bring out these large bins and they have cones on them. So you cannot touch the bins until they remove the cones, and then you can get shopping. But because you're paying by the pound, you can get shirts for literally $1. The bins are rotated out on strict hourly or daily schedules, and so there's constantly a fresh batch of bins that are rolled onto the floor, and then the shoppers gather around and hunt for the hidden gems. I go to the bins a couple times a year, and I usually leave with a few amazing gems, but I would love to know your experience there.
There are over 160 Goodwill outlet stores nationwide. Be sure to give it a quick Google search to try out number 4.
Number 5 to the formula is knowing how to negotiate. I'm going to give you the exact words you can use to negotiate in thrift stores, especially ones that are overpriced. Most thrift stores have a tagging system, and this includes Goodwill, that shows you when that item was put on the floor. And in my experience, if an item has sat on the floor for more than a week and it's taking up valuable inventory or space on the floor, your store manager is likely to mark it down for you so they can clear it entirely. Remember, thrift stores have no idea what they're going to be getting. So the words that I use to the store manager is, I've noticed that this has been sitting out on the floor for a week. If you need more space for inventory, would you be willing to lower the price to X amount? I would be able to pick it up today. I have found that lots of store managers will say yes to this. And if the store manager says no, that they're not able to do that at that time, I always respect what they say. But I have gotten items 50% off by using this method. In addition to that, there have been items in my store that have been marked sold that I have actually purchased. How did I do it? Once they sell an item, especially larger pieces, they put a sold tag on that item. And most stores say you have 24 to 48 hours to come back to pick up the item. If you don't come back, they will relist the item. Well, as you can imagine, some of those items will sit out on the floor with their sold tag on it, and the people never come to get them, which is actually crazy to think about, but it's way more common than you think, especially for larger items. You thrifted something for $50 and it was across town and you never went back to get it. I did this with a beautiful pink settee. It was marked as sold and it was listed at $9.99. I was in the thrift store a couple days in a row and just saw it sitting there. I went up and I asked the manager and she said, yeah, the person never came and got it. It's yours. Also, if the tag has been removed from the items, thrift stores are notorious for people walking through and like grabbing something because they think they want it and then putting it back. And lots of times the tagging system is disrupted. You take a smaller tag to show you want the item and then the tag with the price is left on the item. So what I like to do is go up to the front if I see that the tag has been taken, and they will do an all call to the store and say, if you are interested in the brown desk that's at the front, please come to the register. And oftentimes that person has already left. I have gotten such good furniture this way because the rest of the store thinks that somebody else already has the tag for it, but they really don't. Like, they already left and never put the tag back. So in my experience, always check with the front register, have them do an all call, especially if it's something that you really want.
I added it up, and in the last year alone, I have saved over $1,700 by getting items 50% off because they've been on the floor. Goodwill prices may be out of control, but that doesn't mean thrifting is dead. Every piece in this room came from some combination of the strategies I just shared. Estate sales, local thrift stores, Goodwill bins, negotiation, and just knowing where to look in the first place. In fact, all of these techniques have saved me over $3,000 on this room. When I started this makeover, the inspiration photo that I was going after, this one, would have cost me well over $3,000. But instead of paying retail prices, I pieced it together, one thrifted find at a time. The deals are still out there. You just have to know where to look. So I gotta know, did you know all these tricks? Or which of these do you plan to try on your next thrifting outing?
Be sure to give Chapter a call. All of the information is linked down below. Nobody should ever overpay for Medicare. My beautiful friend, if nobody has told you today, guess what? You are enough. I'll catch you soon. All right, hug time.